Good morning. First of all, can I apologise for being unable to be with you in person today? I'm genuinely sad that I can't be with you, but Parliament can be a bit of a funny place at times, and with the various motions that make last week's autumn statement a reality before the House of Commons today, all permissions to be outside of Westminster have been refused by the whips. Now, motorsport has been a passion of mine since I was 8 years old, inspired by watching Ayrton Senna race in Formula One. And to have been elected to a constituency that boasts just over half of Silverstone Circuit, from Chapel to the Loop, really is for me the cherry on the icing on the cake. Not just for racing, but to recognise Silverstone Circuit's place as the beating heart of Motorsport Valley in the United Kingdom, championing the massive impact motorsport has as the driver for economic growth and keeping the United Kingdom at the global centre of technological advancement. It is no accident that 7 of the 10 Formula One teams, so many teams from other series, Extreme E, Formula E, the British Touring Cars, World Rally Championship, have their bases right here in the United Kingdom. And the feeder businesses, the supply chains that go into that are simply extraordinary. Here in Buckinghamshire, Northamptonshire and other counties that make up Motorsport Valley, each and every business, every organisation, whether in motorsport and automotive or otherwise, something genuinely special has been created. Tomorrow's economy happening right here, right now, encapsulated, supported and nurtured under the umbrella of the Silverstone Technology Cluster. Scrolling through the directory of Silverstone Technology Cluster members on the website, there is a real roll call of honour. It's been a pleasure to see some of the work members firsthand during constituency visits to those businesses in my constituency, such as the cutting-edge additive manufacturing technologies at the digital manufacturing sector in the Buckinghamshire half of Silverstone Park. Indeed, Silverstone Park itself is a runaway success story, a jewel in both the Buckinghamshire and Northamptonshire crowns, creating an economic super hub next to the racing circuit, while still nestled in rural England. May it continue to grow and attract more inward investment. And all those businesses sitting under the umbrella of the Silverstone Technology Cluster are part of a wider United Kingdom success story. Science and innovation are some of the UK's greatest strengths. With less than 1% of the world population, the UK hosts 3 of the world's 10 best universities, has produced up to 13% of the world's most impactful research, and has the second highest number of Nobel laureates of any nation. The UK also ranks 4th in the Global Innovation Index. These remarkable achievements in R&D and innovation generate significant economic and social benefits for the whole UK and beyond. But of course, we need to turn to the economic conditions we find ourselves in, which will no doubt be on absolutely everybody's mind. It's no understatement to say we're in some particularly bumpy waters. The economy is suffering from multiple shocks, a once-in-a-century eventuality that was the COVID pandemic, and war in Europe from Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine being the principal global pressures. It is vitally important to me, as a backbench member of Parliament, yes from the governing party, but seeking to hold the government to account, that the government regularly engages with manufacturing businesses, suppliers, and trade associations to ensure that they can support the manufacturing sectors as they recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Whilst I doubt anyone needs reminding, during the pandemic, the manufacturing sector in the UK benefited from £2 billion worth of taxpayer-backed finance in the form of the Coronavirus Business interruption loan scheme and £2.3 billion through the bounce back loan scheme to help keep firms operating. Eligible businesses can continue to receive further support through the recovery loan scheme, which has recently been extended for a further 2 years. This will help ensure there is continued access to much needed finance to thousands of small and medium-sized businesses across the country. In addition, £4.78 billion worth of support was provided through the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme, which helped protect people's wages and manufacturing jobs across the United Kingdom, including the final extension through to the end of September last year. But that does now all need to be paid for. £408 billion of additional borrowing by the state has to be paid back at a time when once more, due to the energy crisis exacerbated by the invasion of Ukraine, the state is once more having to step in with billions of pounds of support to households and businesses to help cover utility bills. I get that business needs certainty. I ran my own small business for 15 years before I was a Member of Parliament. I know that preferably business wants low taxes, barriers to growth removed, and red tape swept away. The past couple of months have done little for that. I recognise that. The corporation tax uncertainty from September's mini-budget, commitment to keep it at 19p, only for the rise to 25p to be reconfirmed just a couple of weeks later. But I hope with the greater market stability of recent weeks and a strengthening pound, whilst things are tough, whilst recession is upon us, there is a path to that recession being much shorter and shallower than may have otherwise been the case, and a pathway to growth realised. There are certain factors playing in our favour as a country. We were among the first to lift lockdowns and COVID restrictions, and thanks to other difficult decisions, our debt to GDP ratio is in fact the second lowest in the G7. But we need more than that to get our economy growing again, to support all the businesses and organisations within the Silverstone Technology Cluster weather the storm. So amongst the difficult decisions, I commend to you the good news from the autumn statement, which set out measures to boost growth and productivity by supporting people, infrastructure and innovation, including additional support to increase labour market participation, increasing public spending on infrastructure across this Parliament, delivering planned skills reforms, supporting R&D by increasing taxpayer funding to $20 billion in 2024 to 25. And the government has also said that they are tasking the Chief Scientific Advisor and National Technology Officer, Sir Patrick Vallance, to bring together the best minds to advise how the UK can better regulate emerging technologies, enabling their rapid and safe introduction. I very much hope that Silverstone Technology Cluster members, businesses and organisations within the STC can be part of that, setting the agenda, ensuring that the voice of Silverstone and its surrounds is heard. The government is also equally committed to reforming retained EU law by moving rapidly to review that retained EU law in key growth industries, including digital technology, life sciences, green industries, financial services, and, critically, advanced manufacturing. To identify those changes that can be made over the next year which have the greatest potential to unlock growth. The government has also, in its autumn statement, committed to ensuring cutting-edge, innovative firms have the access to the finance that they need to invest and grow. For example, the Treasury is increasing the generosity and availability of the Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme and Company Share Option Plan. It remains supportive of the Enterprise Investment Scheme and venture capital trusts and sees the value of extending them into the future. Then we come to reforms to research and development tax reliefs. For expenditure on or after the 1st of April 2023, the research and development expenditure credit rate will increase from 13% to 20%. The small and medium-sized enterprises additional deduction will decrease from 130% to 86%, and the SME credit rate will decrease from 14.5% to 10%. This reform should ensure that taxpayer support is as effective as possible, improving the competitiveness of the RDEC scheme, and is a step towards a simplified, single RDEC-like scheme for all. This will of course be subject to consultation on the design of a single scheme, and ahead of next year's budget, government will work with industry to understand whether further support is necessary for R&D intensive SMEs without significant change to the overall cost envelope for supporting research and development. Again, I hope the STC members will have their voice heard in that consultation and play a key role in it. I offer those examples where the government is seeking to support advanced manufacturing and high-tech enterprise to highlight some of the good news from the autumn statement. But I'm also not naive enough to think everything will be perfect. First and foremost, to my political philosophy, one of the reasons I got into politics in the first place, I wanted to be a member of parliament championing my constituency, the businesses, the entrepreneurs in my constituency to government, is that fundamental belief that it's not government that creates jobs, it is not the state that produces wealth. It's entrepreneurs, it's businesses, it's the private sector. It's everybody in this room watching this video this morning. And so I want to hear directly from you what you think. I know there will have been news in the autumn statement that will have delighted people, that probably corporation tax and other measures that will have people quite literally screaming. And the reason I was excited to be with you all in person today, which turned out to be impossible, was to hear directly from you what from the government is working for you and your business and what is not, where there are improvements to be made and where things are simply just not good enough. The only way people like me, politicians, members of parliament, mayors, council leaders, learn anything at all is to get out and about and listen. So to those of you in the room who are based in my constituency, live in my constituency, run your businesses in my constituency, please write to me. Let me know. Invite me to visit, to see firsthand how it's going for you. And if I'm not your MP, write to whichever of my colleagues is. Let us know. It is important that we hear from you. I will raise the issues you bring to my attention with the Chancellor, with other Treasury Ministers, with Bays, with the Prime Minister, if necessary. The role of a backbench MP is broad, but I've always considered a key part of my role as an ambassador for business with government. So with grateful anticipation of a bulging inbox, I sign off with my sincere best wishes to everyone involved in the Silverstone Technology Cluster, each individual business and organisation, economic and technological heroes, each and every one of you. Thank you for making our part of the United Kingdom a global beacon for innovation and success. I look forward to working with all of you going forward, and enjoy the rest of the conference.